to hear him. We'll laugh. The countdown is on. T-minus, 27 hours till the NBA's trade deadline hits us, and there's lots of chatter throughout the league. So let's bring in our senior NBA insider, who is the one and only Adrian Wojnarowski, to talk about a couple of big names being mentioned as the deadline approaches. Woj, thanks for being here, as always. Let's start in Toronto. What is the latest on the trade talk involving Kyle Lowry?
Well, they've been gathering momentum, Sage, and Kyle Lowry will be a free agent at the end of the season, and he's worked with Masai Ujiri, Toronto's president, and his agent Mark Bartelstein, Lowry's agent, about if he's going to be traded, where would he like to go? His stature in the organization, what he's meant to them. He's going to have a voice in this. Philadelphia, Miami are certainly teams who've had an interest, but I'm told there are teams registering interest, not just in the Eastern Conference, but in the Western Conference. And, Philadelphia is obviously his hometown. The Sixers have also had interest in Norman Powell, another guard in Toronto, who's going to potentially be a free agent this summer if he declines his team option. So the Raptors, between now and Thursday's trade deadline, they may really transform the future of that organization with perhaps some young players' picks coming back, and Kyle Lowry out in the marketplace could certainly be a real impact player. He turns 35 years old tomorrow, but still a player coveted around the league among contenders.
Yeah, he's been the face of the franchise for a long time. Hard to believe he's in his 15th season, a 6-time All-Star. We'll see what happens with Kyle. And then there's Victor Oladipo, the 2-time All-Star. He's only been in Houston since the Harden trade in January. Woj, what are you hearing about Victor?
Well, I think Houston now is of the mind that, they're likely going to trade Victor Oladipo before Thursday's trade deadline. Obviously, they got him as part of the big James Harden trade. Also a free agent this summer. And so, they're looking at packages where they can get a combination of a young player and a draft pick, or perhaps a really good draft pick as part of a return for Oladipo. He certainly had the injury history. He has not been as durable here and on the court in the last year or so, but still has value around the league. A lot of teams see him as a rental for the rest of the season. Miami has salary cap space this summer. There's always been a mutual interest with Oladipo in the Heat, but I'm told the Heat have been reticent to really register any significant offers for Oladipo, because I think they believe if they want to do that in the summer, they could get Oladipo without having to give up any real assets right now. Miami obviously remains engaged on the Kyle Lowry front too.
Because of the injury, like you mentioned, and some other things, it's been like 3 years since we've seen Victor Oladipo play, probably to his potential. For as good as he's been over his 8 years, Houston is already his 4th team. We'll see if there's a 5th coming. Much more from Woj coming up on today's trade deadline special with Zach Lowe, 2:30 Eastern on ESPN. Woj, thank you as always.
Thanks, Sage.
All right, a couple of guys exempt from trade talk. James Harden, Damian Lillard. Harden already dealt. Lillard likes staying put in that Pacific Northwest. Harden having to play without Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving. First quarter, Harden blows right through the defense. This is equal parts remarkable offense and really bad defense. And he got it going early. Second quarter, 4 minutes left in the half. Blazers up 1. Lillard, then he does his thing, up and under 17 points in the half. Harden goes for 15 points and 8 assists. We have a back and forth between the two stars. Close game going into the second half. Fourth quarter, Blazers down 6. Lillard, three-pointer, no good. Harden gets the rebound. Full court to Blake Griffin. Still doesn't dunk, just lays it in. New game, give it time. 4 minutes remaining.
He got that dunk out of the way, didn't he?
Did he?
Games ago, I think he got one.
It looks like Novocaine. Give it time, always works. Cantor, 19 points, 19 rebounds, double-double for Cantor. Animal style, only way to order a double-double. Trailblazers cut the lead to 3. Then Harden takes the handoff, ball knocked away, fouled. Harden slow to get up. Terry Stotts decides to challenge the call. After the review, it is overturned, and the ball is rewarded to the Blazers. So the Nets would foul, ensuing possession. They would split the free throws, cut the lead to 2. After nearly 5 seconds, Jeff Green eventually finds Joe Harris, gives it back to Green. He is fouled. Nets win 116-112. Harden, you've heard this before. He was really good.
In basketball, everything isn't going to be perfect. whether it's playing through injuries or playing banged up. I love to hoop. I love to be out there and being there for my teammates. I feel like if I'm on the court, my teammates have a better chance of winning. So that's just my mindset. And tomorrow when I wake up, if I feel like I can go, I'm gonna go. And it's that simple.
All right, some numbers to give you. Nets 16-2 in the last 18 games. Nets are an NBA best 11-1 against the West since acquiring James Harden. He's averaging 28 points and nearly 13 assists per game in those contests. Brooklyn has won 9 straight road games against Western Conference teams, their longest road win streak against the West in their NBA history. Want to welcome in NBA analyst Chiney Ogwumike. Hey, Chiney, the Nets face the Western Conference leading Jazz tonight in Utah. And you want to talk about a great matchup, 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, because we really get an idea of what both of these teams are made of. So I want you to tell us what's at stake for both of these teams in tonight's game.
You're right, Matt. This is a really intriguing matchup because both teams need quality wins to set up their postseason runs. I know it's early, but it is meaningful. I'm speaking as a player because the Brooklyn Nets right now are the hottest team in basketball. James Harden has found his way to really hold it down while Kevin Durant has been out, and now Kyrie Irving is now attending to a family matter, and he's currently onboarding Blake Griffin and keeping his team, near the top of the Eastern Conference standings at number 2. He has been Brooklyn's most valuable player in a way that many are really starting to appreciate. Now, the Utah Jazz in this matchup, they're still number 1 in the West, even though they had some surprising losses to the Warriors and the Wizards, but they have consistently found ways to rebound and stay on top. Now, both teams, the Jazz, which I love the Jazz because they have a balanced offense and defense, but both
minutes to go. Then Milton misses the lay-in. Tony Bradley gets the rebound, finishes over Draymond. Sixers end the game on a 22-6 run. One would think best defender ever would. Well, anyway, Sixers win 108-98. So the Sixers have gone from surviving without Joel Embiid to thriving. In the first 6 games he's missed, they went 1-5, getting outscored by nearly double digits each time, but they've turned it around, going 6-1 of their last 7 games without their all-star center, winning by 13 points per game and shooting nearly 50% from the field. She's back. Chiney Ogwumike. We had Woj earlier reporting the Sixers are interested in trading for Kyle Lowry. So we talk about fit this time of year and whether or not you can come in the middle of the season and fit on a roster. Chiney, how would this fit with Lowry if he were traded to Philly?
First of all, Matt, you shady for that. I saw what you did right there. But we're seeing another example of James Harden in the middle of a season fitting in pretty well. So I think it's possible for Kyle Lowry. Thank you for laughing, Sage. Now, Kyle Lowry will be an excellent fit in Philadelphia just because a lot of people don't remember. He's from Philly and he went to Villanova. So it could be a potential homecoming there. And I really love what Doc Rivers and the 76ers have done so far this season. A lot of good and improvement with their offense and their defense. And Kyle Lowry, he could be their championship piece because you need as many weapons as possible in a conference where the Brooklyn Nets continue to reload. They're number 1, in the East right now, and this is your year to make that push. And Kyle could be one of those guys. I mean, he's led a team to the pinnacle. And most importantly, he's a scoring point guard, which is necessary to stretch the floor for Joel Embiid. He's not afraid to put his body on the line, take a charge. He's well respected and battle tested. So this move would potentially put the entire NBA on notice, especially the Eastern Conference, if they're able to pull it off. But I really think overall, most contenders need to take a hard look at Kyle because he can be a game changer for a top team.